The Lady Lever Art Gallery was founded by the first Lord Leverhulme, and it opened its doors in 1922. But Lever had been collecting Wedgwood since 1905, and the way he started was by swallowing whole the greatest Wedgwood collection of an earlier generation, the one formed by the first Lord Tweedmouth. And this collection was offered in a shop in Bond Street in 139 separate lots. What Lever did was to go in and buy the whole thing. So he swallowed it whole and overnight became the most important collector of Wedgwood on the market. And what he had bought was a collection that was mostly, almost entirely, of Wedgwood Jasperware, because in Victorian times people didn't think much of Wedgwood creamware and earthenwares. It was the dry-bodied stonewares they wanted, Jasperware especially, and to some extent also basalt and caneware. So this is the nucleus of Lever's collection, and he then spent the next 14 years, up till 1919, in expanding it, with the help of London's leading dealer in old Wedgwood, a man called Frederick Rathbone. And when Rathbone died in 1919, Lever stopped collecting Wedgwood. So that's how he put the collection together. But this is only part of his collecting, because at the same time that he was collecting Wedgwood, he's collecting all sorts of other things. Pre-Raphaelite paintings, Chinese porcelain, classical sculpture, English furniture, all sorts of things. It's a very mixed and eclectic collection. Lever was born in 1851, the son of a wholesale grocer in Bolton in Lancashire, and his career was based on the simple perception, really, that if you were to cut up a big bar of soap, and bars of soap in those days were enormous great bars, if you were to cut it up into small portions and wrap them individually, then you could sell it as a brand and you could make much more profit. Nobody had ever done this before. Soap was simply something that was cut off for you by the grocer. But what Lever did was to wrap it and brand it as Sunlight Soap. And he set up a special factory to make it here at Port Sunlight, the village which he named after his product, and he built the whole village, factory, houses and everything. And the houses are the first place in the world that the principles of the artificial village, if you like, picturesquely planned village, was specifically made for housing factory workers. It really was a first in the world, and that started in 1889. So his fortune was built on that, and his company, Lever Brothers, turned into the multinational Unilever, which is still here in Port Sunlight today, and is all over the world now. And so what he did when he started collecting art was he pretty soon got into the idea that he would collect art that would then be put in a specially built art gallery, all paid for at his expense, which was there for the families of his own factory workers. So the inhabitants of Port Sunlight would have their own art gallery where they could come and see the things which had inspired him. So he was really a great philanthropist. In many ways more American than British, because if you try and think of a British equivalent of a big industrial entrepreneur founding an art gallery with their own collection in it, there's not really another equivalent. You have to think of people like Frick in America, or galleries like the Walters in Baltimore. Lever's business methods were very American, and I think his patronage of art and the way he thought about sharing art with the masses also was very American.